Large nations often believe that if you bomb people hard enough, they will break. But the history of war teaches something completely different. In the Rajputana martial tradition, when a fort was surrounded and defeat was certain, the women and children would jump into a huge fire of burning wood and immolate themselves. This ritual was called the Johar. The smoke rising from those flames were visible from miles. And when the besieging army saw that smoke, they did not celebrate, they shuddered because they knew what was coming next. The Rajput warriors, having just watched their families burn alive, having lost every reason to remain alive, would wrap a kafan or a burial shroud around their heads and storm out of the fort gates, sallying into the enemy. Not to survive, not to negotiate, to kill and to die, taking as many of the enemy with them as possible. Johar was not merely a ritual of honor. It was a strategic weapon, the nuclear deterrence of its age. The destruction of everything that a man loves does not break his will to fight. It removes the only thing that might have restrained. Consider Chechnya. The Russia bombed Grozny to rubble. Grozny was described by the United Nations as the most destroyed city on earth. And Russia, one of history's most formidable military powers, was fought to a humiliating ceasefire by a territory smaller than many Indian districts. The harder Russia squeezed, the further the violence spread. The Chechens brought the war to Moscow itself. Theaters, sieges, school, massacre, apartment bombings. The British experienced it in Ireland, the French experienced it in Algeria, and the Americans in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Overwhelming force applied to people stripped of dignity does not produce surrender. It produces a generation for whom violence is no longer a last resort. It is the only remaining language they know. Remember, 19 men armed with box cutters brought the most powerful nation on earth to its knees on a September morning in 2001. The prime ingredient for unstoppable terror is not a large army or money or weapons or nuclear enrichment. It's desperation. And desperation is precisely what is being manufactured at industrial scale in Iran today. The Treaty of Versailles did not end the First World War. It simply incubated the second one. The humiliation heaped on Germany did not break the German people. It ignited them. It actually created an Adolf Hitler. And the world paid with 50 million lives. An irony that Israel might want to remember. What is being done to Iran today is missile with bombs. The Rajput siege did not always end in Johar. When a besieging commander was wise enough to offer terms that preserved honor, the slaughter was averted. A defeated enemy who retains his dignity could be a future ally, but a defeated enemy who is stripped of everything will always remain an eternal enemy. And as the Bible teaches, the sins of the fathers are visited upon the sons. That generation which lit this fire may not be the one that burns in it, but unfortunately, their children most likely will.